Hi everyone, welcome back to A Sky Full of Stars, Saya's Route, episode 10, and this will be the last episode in Saya's Route. So now that Project Starry is over, and Saya is back with Akito, she has been making lunches for him, and she's trying to get ideas from Akito about where she can improve. It's like, well, I want to be your commuter wife, and to be a perfect commuter wife, I have to be good at making lunches. And Akito has been enjoying them, except for a few days when Saya is out. And now we have... So Hikari and Saya and Takichi are here in the convenience store with Miharu, and Saya's kind of upset that Miharu has went back to her usual lifestyles, like the lazy person who just lounges around every day at the convenience store, as opposed to the teacher style that she wore for the Project Starlight event. So let's see how it goes from here and how Saya's route comes to an end. So Miharu's like...
ところであんたら、なんで集まってんの？これから四分ギザ流星群見に行くんです。ねえ。
So we got another meteor shower to watch.
ねえ。
Yep.
タケも？
And what about you?
俺は暇つぶししに来ただけっす。
So he held up the comic he brought with him, the manga.
先生は見に行かないんですか？四分ギザ流星群。
行くわよ。
Well, I hope the mom is okay with it. She nods. Well, she made it sound like a chore. Well, I'd rather be at home watching TV.
天文部の OB に誘われててね。もうすぐお迎えが来るわ。
Oh, so someone asked her out.
なんでそんな嫌そうなんですか？
怖い先輩に声かけられちゃったからね。
So this person, I don't feel comfortable being with. And he's here. So we heard the sound of a car horn outside. So there's a huge, large four-wheel drive vehicle in front of the store.
来ちゃった。
He's here. So Miharu-san finishes the rest of her coffee in one gulp and crumples on the paper cup.
んじゃ、ちょっと行ってくるわ。
Okay, I'll be going.
星が見られるのはいいんだけどね。
So muttering to herself, Miharu Sensei exits the store, or Miharu-san.
どうも、お待たせしました。
こんばんは、早乙女さん。
And it's Morita-san.
早乙女さん、あなたその格好で行くつもりですか？
ええ。何か？
So what's wrong?
あなたという人はこれから山へ行くんですよ。着替えてきなさい。
Well, we're going to the mountains, so get changed.
また怒られてるよ、あの人。
So does Morita-san want Miharu in her teacher uniform, or something that's appropriate for the mountains?
なんかすごくいたたまれなくなるからやめてほしいよね。でも先生やるときはやるんだよ。昔の服着たら今でも先生だったもん。
So Saya still believes that there is a dormant teacher attitude or teacher mind inside Miharu-san or Miharu-sensei. And I don't doubt it either, but too much belief will probably break your heart. So try not to think too much about it. Well, I guess I shouldn't tell Saya that when Miharu-san wears her old teacher clothes, she uses a safety pin to fasten her skirt. So the stars could teach us many things, including the fact that nothing lasts forever. Okay, so he closes the shop. Like, that'll do. So after making sure the store is closed, I went to where Hikari and Saya are waiting outside. So did we forget something?
望遠鏡持ったし、防寒グッズも万全。
おやつと懐中電灯もあるよ。
So telescope check, warm clothes check, snacks check, flashlights check. Okay.
アキトはなんか荷物少なくない？
Well, after all, Sai made something for my supper, right? So he's bringing the food. Oops, I let my little secret spoil out. I guess not. Hikari and Saya look very uncomfortable.
作ってないよ。
Oh, so you thought I was gonna make something? Well, unfortunately, I didn't do that.
あるなんて言ってないじゃん、最初から。
But you were going on and on about Sai's cooking, and I was sure you prepare some kind of surprise. Well, let's talk. It looks like it had only been wishful thinking.
ごめんね。
Well, I'm sorry. We didn't clarify things for you.
っていうかさ、星見ながら食べるんだったら、やっぱりアキトの担当でしょ。
あっくんが作ってくれる温かい夜食がいいんだよ。
So Saya is being very encouraging. It's like, well, but Saya's cooking warms the heart too.
山で飲むコーヒーはインスタントに限る。コクも深みも必要ない。それは山が与えてくれるから。
Okay?
って誰の言葉だったっけ？
So this must have been Akito's words. Well, yeah, it's mine. Oops. And when did I ever tell Hikari that story? Okay, I got it. I'll prepare something, so you just head out first.
はーい。
Okay.
3人で星を見に行くのっていつ以来だっけ？
去年の四分ギザ流星群以来じゃないかな。
そっか。ってことはちょうど1年なんだ。
So we are crossing the Hoshino Dam walkway, and I kept glancing behind us, but so Akun still hasn't caught up, and preparations must be taking some time. So he has to start from scratch, and well, what should I get? What should I buy? And he might have to reopen the cash register.
あっくんは本当にお弁当があるって思ってたんだね。
So I'm very busy over the New Year's, so I couldn't do the commuter wife stuff, and maybe he had been looking forward to my food.
悪いことしちゃったな。
And well,
なんでもない。こっちのこと。
but when it came to stargazing snacks, nothing beats the instant noodles or popcorn that Aku makes for us.
それでなんだっけ？
So,
去年も一緒に四分ギザ流星群見たねって話。
okay?
ごめんごめん。
Oh, sorry.
そういえばあの時約束したよね。
約束？ああ。
またこの場所で3人揃って流 星群が見られますように。あの日が今の私たちの出発点だったよね。
So, exactly 1 year ago, I watched the quadrantid meteor shower with Akun and Hikari right before she went abroad. So, Hikari. And that was when she noticed the stars disappearing from Hoshinaka's night sky, and Project Starlight is born.
そうだったそうだった。明け方ラブレターのことを打ち明けたアキトにサヤがいきなりキスしたんだよね。
Oh, well, you don't have to remember the embarrassing details.
あれはびっくりしたよ。様子見に戻ってきたらうちょってしてるんだもん。私初めてだよ。誰かがチューしてるの生で見たの。
いろいろごめん。
Well, I'm sorry for everything.
でもさ、そのサヤの勇気勢いだけの行動が今につながってるんじゃない。
勢いだけの行動でした。
And at the moment, I didn't think that things would go well with Akun after kissing him like that. And it must have just been an impulse. Or I was impulsive.
あれから1年か。いろんなことがあったね。
So, too much had happened in this dizzying year.
どうしたの？そんな構ってほしいけど素直に言えない子猫みたいな顔して。
どんな顔よそれ。
こんな顔だ。うりゃー。
ほっぺ引っ張らないで。
So I like how you act all shy. It's like, well, I need some help, and you try to be all cutesy.
もしかしてまだ気にしてるの？
ちょっとだけ。
まあそりゃそうか。でもある意味これで元通りじゃん。
But anyways, everything's back to how it was.
私たち3人元の仲良しでもってサヤの手紙を読んだアキトがあんたとお付き合いを始めた。かけ違えてたボタンをやっと元に戻せたってわけ。自信持ちなよ。自分の気持ちに取り戻してくれたんでしょ、あいつが。
So, if you remember, it was Akito who found that luck charm and he gave it to you. That's right. So, Akun found them for me, those important feelings that I had almost lost.
それでいいの。そういう一途でいじらしいサヤが私もあいつも大好きなんだから。
And with that, Hikari gives Saya a big hug.
うりうり。
Squeeze!
重いよ。
And her supple breasts are pressed against mine. It felt good, but I'm a bit envious. So, I look like a kid compared to you. So, Hikari steps away from me, so as in Saya, and leans over the handrail, her eyes on the lake.
どうしたの？
今あそこに光が。
So she points at the pitch black lake.
さっと流れてったの。
流れ星じゃないかな。
流れ星？
私たちあの日ここで流星群を見てたんだよ。
So, I saw something interesting. A meteor shower, or a falling star.
湖にたくさんの流星が映って綺麗だったんだ。
ほんとだ。湖に星が映ってる。
So the lake isn't as calm as it had been the other night, but the starlit sky is still beautifully reflected.
ここ こで流星群見たんだ。いいなあ。
So against the bright night reflected in the lake, the meteors continue to fall. And surely we would never forget that scene. So eager for more, Hikari clung onto the handrail and kept staring at the lake's surface.
なかなか現れないね。もう。
Aw, so that was it? So the quadrantids may be one of the 3 biggest meteor showers, but it wouldn't be easy to get enough meteors for a reflected show. And at the moment, so Akito comes in. Oh, hello! So Akito walks along the dam with us, or towards us, with a big rucksack on his back. Okay, so here are the snacks and dinner. So what are you two doing over here?
流星を待ってたの。
Oh, we're waiting for the meteors. And even though Akun is here, Hikari is still staring at the lake. Her eyes, flickering with curiosity, reminds me of a child, sort of like Akun. But the meteors refuse to show, and for a while, all 3 of us are just staring blankly at the darkness of the lake.
この下に私たちの村があるんだよね。
So reaching the end of her attention span, Hikari makes an abrupt remark. It's like, well, we used to live in that place which is covered by this lake. Well, it doesn't register for me though. And that's Akun's response. So several years has passed since our village was submerged by the dam. And somewhere along the way, we got used to the new scenery and forgot that it wasn't always like this before. But it's different for Hikari. She was away from Mikazuki at the time, so it must have been a dramatic change. So when I came back, everything's different.
思い出も全部この中だよ。
So the lake is pitch black and utterly empty. But if you look closer, you could barely make out the moonlit outlines of the buildings in the submerged village. And seeing those ghostly shapes, I whisper softly. So
まるで星の中に村が浮かんでいるみたいだね。
So we had lost many things. But some things remained. But some things could be regained. And we worried that losing the form of something meant it no longer exists. But most of the truly important things don't have a form. So they're always there, as sure as the universe's first light is still shooting across space. And just waiting to be noticed by someone someday.
あ、流れ星。
So another shooting star.
見た？うん、見た。
Oh, so that was a bright one. And just like a vision born from our memories, the bright stars soared through the night sky, illuminating the underwater village.
この先もずっと一緒にいようね。もしも私たちの住む場所や私たち自身が変わってしまったとしても、ずっと。
So as time passes, the city is going to change and we could change too. And it's sad, but it also meant that change is possible.
じゃあまた約束しようよ。
Okay, so how about another promise? Says Saya.
いいね、しよう。次は何がいいかな。
The closest one would be the Lyrids, but for that observation, it's got to be the Perseids.
流星群に限らないなら そうだな。
Persids. And for Saya's like, well, they have to be meteor showers. So Hikari laughs at how much thought we are giving to this.
獅子座。
So how about Leonids?
獅子座流星群にしよう。
Wait. So that's in November, and it's such a long way away. Hikari shakes her head.
もっと先だよ。だって2034年だもん。
So I want to see the true Leonids, and that happens in the year 2034. So Akio and I look at each other, our eyes wide as the moon.
獅子座流
So the Leonid Meteor Shower brought countless shooting stars to the night sky in 2001, and the next time they would be visible in Japan is 2034. And with that, it is decided. So we're going to stay together for eternity, and when that year comes, we'll see the Leonid Meteor Shower together. And we wasted no time in making a wish on the next meteor that flashed across the lake.
それまでずっと友達でいられますように。
And there are many things we had lost, but the memories would last forever as long as we did not forget. Okay, so this is the credits for Sky Full of Stars, and I'm gonna go ahead and skip the credits, and we'll see how the epilogue goes for Saya's route. So hold on for a minute.
やだ、やっぱり行きたくない。
Okay, so now in the epilogue for Saya's route, and I wonder what's going on. And this looks like the past.
ねえ、お母さん。
お願いだからわがまま言わないで、さやちゃん。
やだ、絶対からかわれるもん。
So I think this happens when it's Saya's first day at school at the Mikazuki village. So she transfers in, and she's kind of embarrassed, like, well, I don't want to go to this school.
さや。
And that's why she puts on her sunglasses to hide her eyes.
ダメよ。そんなのかけて学校行ったら先生に叱られるわ。はあ、きっと新しいお友達できるから。ね。ほら。
Oh, I'm sorry, I went too fast. So let's see what Saya's mother had to say.
きっと新しいお友達できるから。ね。ほら、行きましょう、さや。
Okay.
転校初日、私は母に手を引かれて憂鬱な気分で学校への道を歩いていた。あれほどどん底に憂鬱だったことは今までないかもしれない。けどどんなに拒んでも子供は大人に逆らえない。私は似合わないサングラスをかけ、弱い自分を覆い隠して嫌なことしか待っていないであろう転校先の学校へと向かった。実際私の転校初日は散々だった。いきなりクラスの男子に泣かされて逃げ出したまま、結局その日教室へは戻らなかった。けれど今の私にとってあの日の出来事は最悪の思い出じゃない。一番大切な思い出かもしれない。それから少し後、私は教えられる。不幸の証だと思っていたものは、実は
美しい双子の星だったと。やっぱり帰る。
サヤ、いい加減にしなさい。
Well, Saya, stop this.
星は不思議だ。最初はただの夜空にたくさんある光る点くらいに思ってた。どれも同じようなもので、せいぜい明るいか暗いか、色が少し赤っぽいか白っぽいか、その程度の違い。初めて天体望遠鏡で見たときは綺麗な光だと思った。宝石やアクセサリーみたいでうっとりしたのを覚えてる。けれどいくつかの天体を観測していくうちに見え方が少しずつ変わってきた。
陽がガニメデに隠れてる。
望遠鏡を覗きながら光が言う。
これがガリレオ衛星の相互色？
So I wonder if they went to look for the actual Arboreal stars later on. So during the first astronomy night event that was hosted by Akito and Hikari and supported by teacher Miharu, they were not able to look at the actual Arboreal but the winter Arboreal that Miharu suggested. And it did give the same effect to Saya in the end. So, oh, there's a special group of stars that matches my eyes. Well, it looks like it.
木星の周囲を回っている衛星のうち、ガリレオ・ガリレイが発見した4つの衛星をガリレオ衛星という。ガリレオ衛星は大きくて観測しやすい。何せガリレオが自作した低倍率の望遠鏡でも見えたくらいだから。その衛星同士が重なり合って覆い隠してしまう天体現象、食が起こっているのを私たちは観測していた。
地味だね。
That's boring. Yeah.
でも不思議。
But for Saya's like, well, I think there are other stars that are interesting too. Not just that one.
うん、不思議だ。
天体望遠鏡で覗いた向こう、遥か虚空を隔てた先に見えるあの点は星なんだ。そこには空間があって、木星という巨大な惑星が浮かんでいて、その周りを衛星が回っている。地球の周りを月が回っているように。相互色の観測はそれを実感として教えてくれている。あそこで起こっていることは日食や月食と同じ。その証拠にガリレオ衛星は木星に影を落とすことがある。その時影の中では日食が起こっているんだという。実感が強まる。虚空の闇に紛れもない超巨大物体が浮かんでいる。本当はそれは地味なんかじゃない。とんでもなく壮大な風景なんだ。私は夜空を仰ぎ見る。今こうして見えている光が全部そう。星や星雲、星団、水星や流星、何らかの天体なんだ。小さな点に見えるけど、本当は地球よりも大きな、中には太陽よりも大きな天体たち。そう思うと、なんだか途方もなくて。圧倒的で、私の小さな体じゃ、とても受け止めきれない事実に怖くなる。
どうしたの、さや。プルプル震えながらしがみついてきて。
ちょっと怖くなっただけ。
よしよし、怖がらなくていいよ。私たちがついてるよ。
天文部だって人に言うと、よく星が好きなのって聞かれる。
Okay?
どことなく意外そうに。きっと天文部が何をする部活かみんな知らなくて、それで余計に不思議に思うんだろう。そんな時、私は返事に困ってしまう。自分でもよく分かってないから、星が好きなのかどうか。だから結局適当にはぐらかすことになるんだけど、でもこれだけは言える。星と出会って私の人生は大きく変わった。
ねえ、さやはどうして先生になりたいの？
これもまた少し困る質問だ。かけがえのない思い出となった子供時代の担任の先生に憧れているせいもある。
Okay, so here we see like, well, Saya was inspired by the old Miharu sensei.
でもそれだけじゃない。もっと自発的な理由を言うなら、やっぱり星のおかげなんだろう。
And also, it was Miharu who kind of brought them into astronomy. And she was an astronomer, or she did do astronomy activity in the past. And that's probably why Morita-san remembers Miharu sensei. It's like, well, I want to see you again, and I want to see you as the old teacher self.
ガリレオ衛星の相互色を惑星観測ノートに書き記した時に触れた不思議。その不思議を実感として解き明かした瞬間、新しい自分と出会えたような気がして心が高ぶった。それを誰かに教えたい、そう思った。
Okay?
みんな静かに、お兄さんとお姉さんの言うことをよく聞いて。
Okay, so now we're in the future, and let's see what happened to Saya. So Saya's bringing up all these memories about her path to, one, not be ashamed that she has multicolored eyes, and two, how she became interested in astronomy, and three, how she wanted to be a teacher at the end. And if you remember, Saya's astronomy club at Seisen Girls, it wasn't an astronomy club at all. It was like a manga art club, and they were doing manga art under the cover astronomy club. And Saya was the only person who did do astronomy. And I wonder if Saya did end up getting the other members into astronomy as well. Well, maybe partially, because then they did help out with the Six Stars Club website. So I think Saya is sharing all those memories with other people.
よく聞いて、もっと静かにって、私の話をまず聞きなさい。
So ignoring their teacher's primal scream, so my, as in Saya's students, kept running and playing all over the place. Okay, so it looks like Saya did end up becoming a teacher at the end.
イエーイ、悔しかったらここまで来てみろ。
And it looks like she's still trying to get her class under control.
やめなさいよ、男子。やっぱり私、生徒に舐められてるのかな。
And it's harder than she imagined.
私のことバカにしてる。
And for some reason, Akito's here too. So Akito looks at me being overrun by my students and sniggers. Well, I guess it wasn't all easy.
何かな、その目は。
Well, nothing. You just seem to be having a hard time. That's obviously true.
どうせ頼りない先生だなとか思ってるんでしょ。分かってるんだから。
Well, it is kind of hard. No, I wasn't. You always think of the most negative things, so you think I'm making fun of you. So, today, I have brought my class to a Stargazers meetup. The moonless, cloudless night is perfect for stargazing, but the students are so excited to be out this late, and they just couldn't keep quiet. So just barely, I was saved by the fact that the event was organized by the Six Stars Club. And with the club members helping to take care of my students, the situation is under control, more or less. And if I were alone, who knows what would have happened by now. But then again, in the beginning, so many years ago when Saya, Akito, and Hikari went to the first night stargazers meetup with Miharu, Miharu was able to keep everything under control.
子供はなかなか落ち着いてくれませんね。
And I think it's like Saya's being too nice as a teacher, and that's why the other students don't really see Saya have that authority or that being like the authority person.
ごめんなさい。あなたたちに面倒を見させてしまって。
いえ、慣れてますから。
Well, we're used to it, so it's okay. So after retiring from the club, the reins of the Six Stars Club were handed over to the next generation of student astronomers. And to further raise awareness in Hoshinoka, they're inviting children to the observation events. So now they're expanding the people who can't go to the Six Stars Club. And I want to show my students the stars, so I asked the club to hold one event for me.
光栄に思います。あの天の川先輩とご一緒できて。
はあ、あのというのは何かしら。
天の川さや先輩の伝説は、ほうき星光先輩ともども、むつら星の会に語り継がれているんですよ。
And now you've become legends in the Six Stars Club.
伝説。
So Akun is sniggering at me again.
それはプロジェクトスターライトのことだよね。
So it's about that Project Starlight thing? So Project Starlight had been one of the Six Stars Club's most important accomplishments. It's only normal that people still know about it.
それもありますが、先輩の残された星空のスケッチや、それにやはりアルビレオのプリンセスの名が印象的ですね。
So you did leave a lot of memories for us. So the sketches of the stars and the name Albio Princess.
プリンセス。
So I repeat that word, feeling Akun's gaze on my back.
誰だろうな。そんな伝説を捏造した人は。
So who made that title up? Only one person comes to mind. So, Akito. Oh, well done, princess.
あっくんの後輩の仕業だよ。ちゃんと注意してよね。
Oh, no, it was Hinami who did it. But you know, Hoshidaiichi is a school that values independence very highly. So, we respect other people's ideas, including the Albio Princess and the comic girl that Hinami made.
もう適当なことばっかり言って。
今度はぜひコメットガール先輩にもお会いしたいです。
So I want to see comic girl too.
コメットガール。
So hearing Akun's stifled laugh made me smile.
何か。
いえ、なんでもないの。そうね、伝えておくわ、コメットガールさんに。
So comic girl is the member or the monkeyer of Hikari Hokiboshi, who is not here today. Oh, so the moniker. In fact, I hadn't seen her for a long time. So we went our separate ways after high school and only met up a few times a year, in addition to the occasional text conversation. And she's now working as a railroad company. And influenced by her father, Hikari has liked trains ever since she was a child, and now she's working hard to become a train driver one day. So I think Hikari has officially retired from astronomy, and now she's moving on to, well, I want to do trains and be an operator. And when I texted her about today's event, she said she is interested but unable to come because of work. So the legend of Comic Girl lives on too. So I have to tell her about that.
喜ぶだけだと思うよ、 二人のことだから。
That's true. But you know, she hasn't changed at all, that Hikari. So even in 2034, she'll still be the same.
きっとそうだね。
Well, I like it that way, says Saya. So the three of us had made a promise to watch the Leonid Meteor Shower together. And it's still a long way off, but sometimes years slip by in seconds.
おいお前
And now Saya has to deal with her students. Wait, so are you talking to me?
さや先生に慣れ慣れしくすんなよな
Why not? I can do whatever I want.
勝手じゃねえよ先生はまたあんたさや先生に構ってもらおうとしてるんだ違うやいでも残念でした先生の左手の薬指を見てみなさいは指輪が見えないのこれはね婚約指輪って言って先生にフィアンセがいるってことなのよ
So the engagement ring.
嘘だ本当なの先生
本当かな。
どこのドイツだよ俺そいつに決闘申し込む
So where's that person? I want to go find him. And I don't think the kids need to be this concerned.
ダメよ、決闘なんて危ないから。それにその人目の前にいるかななんて。
And I think it's best if Sai doesn't give any clues about who this person might be. So Akun folds his arms with a smug look on his face. So that person is me! Like a child in an adult's clothing. But my students didn't really think this old man could be the one. And apparently, and just started chattering about other things. Hey, so having your fiancé challenged to a duel dealing with children is tough, huh?
まあね。
So during college, Akun and I went or were apart and only saw each other once a month. So after he graduated, Akun came back and found a job. And I started teaching at a local school. And every weekend I went over to his place and cooked for him.
通い妻は健在だもんね。
So I think the reason why Sai is like, well, it's okay if I reveal Akun as my fiance is because he talks about how I have a hard time dealing with my students. So I'm going to let him experience it a little bit.
なんでもない。
And Sai's like, well, I still enjoy being the commuter wife for Akun. And I'm sure once they get married, it's not going to be a commuter wife anymore. It's going to be an official true wife. So the other day, Akun proposed to me. And he presents me this ring saying that although his career has just started, he wants to get married once he is able to support us. And of course, I accepted his proposal. And that's why this ring is on the fourth finger of my left hand. Well, fine, I guess I'll come and help. And as a former member of the Six Stars Club and as my fiancé, Akun comes to help with tonight's observation. So he got a fire going on the portable stove and placed a pot on it. And after a while, so I think he's making popcorn. So small popping sounds could be heard from the pot. And lured by the sound and a buttery fragrance, the children gathers around Akun.
おじさん、それ何？
So what's that? Here you go. Ta-da!
ポップコーンだ。
So freshly made and hot. So the children surrounds Akun and eagerly tries to get their popcorn first.
あら
So what's wrong? A girl stands apart from the popcorn ring.
ポップコーンは嫌い？
So you don't like it?
じゃあもらいに行けばいいのに。
So she is a recent transfer student. And she seems quite introverted. And she had come or had some trouble getting used to the class. And I wanted to do something to help her. So I think Saya's like, well, I kind of see her being just like me when I first entered Mikazuki's school.
じゃあ先生と一緒に星を見ようか。
So I mentioned for her to come over to the telescope.
星座はわかる？
She shook her head.
あそこにとても明るい星があるのはわかるかしら？ あれはね、夜空で一番明るい星、シリウスよ。
シリウス？
それで、その上の方にある赤い星がベテルギウス。あの星はあそこにああして見えているけど、実はもうないかもしれない星なの。星にはあんまり興味ない？
So are you not interested? Well, dominating kids, shy kids, outgoing but actually introverted kids, quiet kids with active minds. Let's see, diligent kids, mischievous kids, mature kids. And there really were kinds of students in a single class, and dealing with all of them is tough. That's true. And she seems to be opening up to me.
じゃあ先生のとびっきりの秘密を教えてあげましょうか。こんなにたくさんある夜空の星の中で先生が一番好きな星。
先生が一番好きな星？
So which one's your favorite star?
そう、その星は肉眼だと見えないわ。たとえ見えても一つの星にしか見えないの。
So her head tilts in puzzlement, probably because my cryptic description of the star that looks like a single star. So I giggled and moved the telescope over to her.
まずはさっき話したシリウスから。
So I look for the star in the telescope's view.
あった。さあ、覗いてごらんなさい。どう？
So how is it?
すごく綺麗。
でしょ？それが先生の一番好きな星よ。
不思議な色をしてる。先生の瞳みたいな星。そんな星があるの？私も見てみたい。俺も。
So suddenly everyone was gathered around the telescope.
はいはい、順番よ。ちゃんと並びましょうね。
Okay, so line up.
ねえ、そんなに綺麗なの？すごく綺麗だった。先生の一番好きな星なんだって。
So looking at them pass through the telescope one by one, I felt a real sense of happiness. So their eyes shone with curiosity, just as Akun and Hikari had when they were children.
あの星たちは あなたや私たちが生まれるよりずっと昔の光。何百年、何千年、何万年も前の星の姿。私たちは今ここにいながら過去を見ているのだ。だからみんな見上げてごらん、夜空の星を。あなたたちにはあの星たちがどんな風に見える？私にとってそれは思い出のかけらたち。星座のようにつなぎ合わせたら、ほら、まるで昨日のことのように蘇ってくる大切な記憶の数々。
先生、この星にも名前はあるの？
Okay, so what's this star?
大犬座145番星という星よ。でもこうも呼ばれているわ。思い出のかけらをつなぎ合わせる始まりの星。冬の春ビデオ。
So this star is the winter albireo. And with that in mind, this is the end of Saya's route in a sky full of stars.
見上げてごらん、夜空の星を。
Okay, so we're back on the title screen. And as for Saya's route, we had a pretty interesting epilogue where we see now that Saya is a teacher, and even though she does have trouble here and there as a new teacher, it looks like her dreams and her imagination and her lecture on astronomy and the stars, it brings everyone together. And I mean her students. And it's just that passion, that feeling that really helps motivate Saya. And it's like, well, it was astronomy that brought all of us together, and it was what kind of made me stand up and not be ashamed about my multicolored eyes. The fact that I'm special, and I did make new friends with this, so Hikari and Akito. So looking back on Saya's route, while I do like how they emphasize Saya being cute and special, and how it's like, well, she needs help and we want to help her, especially from Hikari, I just feel that Saya's route is a little bit too straightforward, and I'm not very fond of a lot of drama, so the fact that at some point in Saya's route she loses her charm and gets so worried like, well, I can't see Akun without this, because I want this charm to help give me good luck. And it kind of reminds me of what happened in Loki Love Volume 1 with Hiwa. So if you remember from that visual novel, the main character Ichitaro, he gets a charm from the shrine, and it's like, well, these charms cause misfortune, and when he got one, he gets his first misfortune when he loses his place to stay. But the following night, his co-worker Hiwa offers her place to stay, and things don't work well, but it was more like it's a chance for the main character Ichitaro to get closer to his favorite co-worker, Hiwa, and we get to see what Hiwa thinks about Ichitaro from the other side. And little hint, or spoiler, she had a luck charm as well. So, I will be playing the other routes in A Sky Full of Stars, and looking at the polls, I can see why Saya is the most popular character in A Sky Full of Stars, given that, well, people do like the multicolored eyes and how they really make Saya special and set her apart. And the fact that, well, Saya's been really lovey-dovey, and how when Akito was in the pits, so him staying at Hoshidaiichi as his residence, Saya was kind of on the side helping him, and she was kind of making sure Akito does not resort to being a primitive person. It's like, well, I want you to be a normal person, like a regular businessman. And a little hint that, well, you can help by trying to be better in your academics and not be focused on your part-time work at the Satomi Stop-by convenience store. So anyways, with that in mind, I'll see you in a future playthrough on a future game.